Welcome back for another Inventor video. In this video, we're going to be going over Chapter 11, Exercise 3, which is the Geneva wheel, which we have up here on the screen. I wanted to bring this up because this can be a little bit tricky here. One of the things that you see first is that this is an 8-inch diameter that it's calling out here. Well, it's actually not. You're not going to draw a diameter of 8 inches because technically that is going to be larger because there's a cutout here. So we're not actually over the quadrants. It's not measuring over the quadrants of the part itself or the circle itself. So really what this is depicting is that it's 8 inches from this point to this point, which isn't the full diameter. So you can't just draw an 8-inch circle and then subtract your cutouts. Otherwise, this isn't going to be 8 inches when you're done. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'll show you how you do this, and it's pretty simple, really. Let's start our part, and we're going to draw a sketch. Okay, so what I really need to find is this point up here that it would be measured from, or this point. Doesn't really matter which one, but one of these points, or this point down here. Just one of those 4 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at this, and it's a 1/2 inch wide, so I know it's a 1/4 inch basically off of center. And I also know that it's 4 inches out from center. So what I'm going to do is draw some construction lines here, or just one construction line, I should say. I'm just going to do this. Okay, and I'm going to make this 4.0. And I'm going to make this 0.25. Because half of 0.5 is 0.25, and it's not constrained because I don't have it exactly on line there. Okay, so I have my construction lines. Now I can draw my circle properly, and that is going to give me my correct diameter to draw this thing. So that's important that you know how to do that and that you actually go through with that. I'm actually going to extrude this now, so I'm going to go ahead and hit finish, and let me just double check. Yeah, so I'm going to add this here as a separate feature, and the hole is a separate feature, just because I'd like to keep them separated. So if I didn't add them, so if I put the hole in here, I would have to put a hole in for this here boss as well. And then if that hole changed, I would have to go into both those drawings and change it. So I'd rather just keep those separated into one feature so that I can just change it one time if it were to get bigger or smaller, that bore. So let's go ahead in and go to extrude. And this is a 1/2 inch thick, 0.5. I don't really care what direction I'm going at this point. Go either direction. Start here. And we are going to draw the boss shape, which is 2.5 diameter. And I'm going to finish that sketch and extrude that out. Looks like that is a 1/2 inch as well. And then we're going to create the hole. And it appears... Let me move my drawing here. Actually, I have it right in front of me. 1.5 diameter. Okay, so I lost my dimension there. 1.5. All right, and then we have a keyway that is 0.36 by 0.2. Okay, so what that means is it's 0.36 wide by 0.2 deep. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick my centered rectangle. I'm going to pick on the quadrant here. And I'm going to go 0.36 tab by 0.4. Since it's centered, I have to go double because it's only going to take off half. And there is my keyway. Now I don't have to trim this, actually. I can just leave it as is and just pick both shapes. So that's probably what I'm going to do. But first I'm going to make sure that I have this thing constrained here properly. So I'm just trying to figure out what exactly needs... there we are. Okay, so that is not constrained to the quadrant point. What I can do is actually I can just do a vertical constraint. And that will constrain it properly. So I'm going to pick all three of those shapes and just extrude them all through. I'm going to hit finish, extrude, this one, this one, this one. And we're going to go cut through all and hit OK. And there we go. Okay, so there's our basic shape. The next thing I can do is I can add a fillet to this. And it looks like I got a 0.25 fillet there. Apply. Now, keep in mind, I could have revolved this whole thing. It would have made it a little bit more difficult to find this full or this true diameter that I needed to create. But I could have done it. All right, so let's go ahead and add our cutouts now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2 of those cutouts, just 2, and then I'm going to circular pattern that around. So let me name these first. I'll call this 8-inch disc, even though it's not 8 inches technically. 2.5 boss. Oops. 21.5. And keyed bore. 0.25 fillet. All right. So now that they're named, get caught up with that. I can select either face. I can select the back face or the top face. Doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to create a slot here. So I'm just looking for how this is dimensioned. So if I look here, I can see, okay, so I can see that the center of these arcs are basically at a 4-inch diameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a slot. I'm just looking for the proper slot, center to center. Yeah, center to center is fine. And this is a 1/2-inch slot, 0.5, enter. Okay, so it doesn't matter how far it sticks out that direction. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dimension it from here. And as we know, that is 2.0. So there is my slot. And that's it. That's all it takes to do that. So it's pretty easy. Yeah, 4 inches to there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and the next thing I need to do is I need to create my arc that's cut out, that semicircle. So what I'm going to do for that, that actually is at an angle. So we're going to turn on our axis here. So I'm going to turn the visibility of this on. If I escape out of my dimension, I can do that. Visibility. And let me pull this off to the side there. All right. And we're going to create a construction line. Okay. All right, so if we take a look at this drawing, we can see that it's 60 degrees from slot to slot. Well, from center of circle, from basically from here, from horizontal to center of this circle, well, it's just going to be 90 minus half of 60, which is 30. So 90 minus 30, this is going to be 60 degrees. So I'm just going to set this thing to 60-degree angle. And of course it wants, dimensions for this here so that it's fully constrained. Oh, I need some for my slot here. That's fine. Got my circle. And I probably need to link this to the center. Yep. All right, so we're fully constrained. I like sometimes to get caught up with that so I don't get lost in what I'm doing. All right. Now, these arcs are 1.5 inches. 1.5, enter. Of course, I do not. That was a radius, so actually 3. As soon as I drew it, I knew that it didn't look right. Okay. So there's our arc. Now we just need a distance for that arc. And it looks like the center of that is 4.5 from the center. So I'm going to make an align dimension. Whoa, didn't want to do that. Must have clicked the wrong thing there. Dimension from here to center, aligned. There we go. And that is 4.5. Okay, and we're fully constrained. All right, so now what I could do is I can hit finish. And I could pattern those as a sketch, but I don't want to pattern. So I'm going to do it as a feature. That way it's easier. Makes it a lot quicker. So I'm just hit extrude, extrude that one, this one, reverse through all, oops, cut. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And I'm just going to name this and let's create a pattern. So features, this one here, axis of rotation, it's a z-axis, and you can see there it already has 6 of them. So since we already have 6, we are good to go. Let's hit OK. And there is our part. So I'm going to right click and turn my visibility off for that. And we're just going to call it, get rid of this 1. All right, and there we go. So our Geneva wheel is complete as far as the model goes. So we're going to go ahead and save that, save as, and I believe this is exercise 11. So 11, exercise 3. Save. All right. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new drawing. And we're going to place our views here. So let's go ahead and place the view. Oops, not projected, base. All right, that gives us the view we want. I'm actually going to make this a little bigger. Actually, oops, 1/2. Yeah. Yeah, we can get away with that. Let's create that, and that's all we're going to do. We're not going to do a isometric view. All right. Okay, so let's see here. We have some center lines we need to put in, so let's go ahead and put those in first. And I'm just going to select here and here. And here and here, here and here, here and here. And I'm just going to extend these through. I'm trying to keep them pretty much consistently sticking out the same length. I don't want them to be inconsistent. Damn it. All right, yeah, my mouse is being goofy here. All right, that's close enough. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a circle. So I'm going to select here, 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 here. Create. And I'm just going to extend, man. Something's definitely funky with my mouse. So there is our circle. And we're going to extend this. And that looks pretty good. I think we have all of them. All right, so let's go ahead and start dimensioning this. So we got 60 degrees from here to here. Helps if I don't pick the end point of the line. There we go. And we want to make a note for the keyway. Continue. And we're going to call that 0.36 by 0.20 keyway. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a semi-arc here so that we can create that dimension. If I show you what I mean here, we have kind of a little arc that's drawn here, and that's giving us our radius. So this is something we haven't done yet. And what we need to do is we need to go in our sketch. We need to go to our arc command and select this drawing. That's what I want, or that view. I'm going to select the center. And I'm actually just going to come out maybe about right here. I'm going to type in 4.5 because that's my distance. And I'm going to create that arc. Just a chunk, just a small segment. And hit finish, and there I go. So then what I can do is I can just go back to annotate, and I can just pick that, and I have my 4.5 dimension here. Now, as you can see, their dimensions, they have 2-place or 1-place decimal here. I'm just doing my standard 3-place, and that's just because that's the way I prefer to have it done. I also am going to bring this off a little bit, rather than, since I have 3-place decimal, it's taking up more room. I don't want it overlaying the part, so I'm going to bring it off like this, just to make it look a little better. Then I'm also going to bring this one out. That one looks okay. I need to do my center, which is, we're going to give that a diameter. And we need this bolt circle, which is also going to be a diameter. And let's see, what else do we need? Oh, the width of the slot. So we'll bring that out and make that 0.5 as well. Yeah, so they have they have them kind of over top of the part. I don't recommend that if you don't need to do that. I only do that in a pinch. So just keep that in mind. I'm actually going to bring this off to this side just because it's less crowded. That looks good. So let's go over here and let's dimension our arc. My mouse is really being funny today. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's making things a little bit more difficult than normal. 2.5 diameter. We need our 8-inch diameter. So I'm going to pick up here and down here. And I'm actually going to go to a dimension type. Now it's probably, okay, it did give me a linear diameter. So what I really need to do to get that is I need to pick here and here. I stay messing these up. Okay, right click that, and I'm going to go to a dimension type linear diameter of 8 inches, 22 thousandths. We actually don't want to do that. There's our 8 inches. Okay. So that's what I want. I don't think you're going to be able to get the diameter symbol by right-clicking. I think what you're going to need to do is go in here. We're going to go in front of the dimension and just make it a diameter, force a diameter in there. 1/2 inch is the distance for this. And our overall is, of course, 1 inch. Doesn't look like it's lining up, but I guess it is. Okay, and I think that includes all of our dimensions. So that is how you dimension this part and create the drawing. The only thing that we could do here is, you can see here that this is a little big. So, and I don't have a material. So if we look at this, it's not giving me a material, so I'm not too worried about that. But we're going to apply one anyway, just because we can. Just to review it. So I'm going to go into Properties, and we're going to go to Physical, and let's make this out of aluminum. I think I passed it. Aluminum 6061, apply that. And if I go to my title, I'm just going to name that after the class, which is CIM 228. And my revision number is going to be 0. Close. Okay, let's go into Inventor. Let's see if that all pulled in. It did. All right, so that all looks good. Now, the one thing you notice here is this is sticking out. Like I said, it's too big. So what I can do is I can go into my sheet and I can edit the definition. I can double click on this part number and highlight that, and I'm going to reduce the size to 0.1 and hit OK. And just hit Finish Sketch. Yes. All right, so it got it a little better. Not quite where I want to be. Edit. Let's do it a little more. Okay, let's go to 0.08. See if we can get away with that. Okay, did take. Finish, yes. There we go. So now we fit that in there. So that looks a little better. And that's it. So as always, if you have questions, you can see me during class, or of course you can see me during my office hours.